Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome back to the beginning of another week. Today is Monday. It is the 8th of August, 2016. We could see that we have a transition going on here from one moon sign to the next. That's from Libra to Scorpio. However, before we get into that, our sun sign, just reminders in Leo. Leo's a fire sign, taming the lion, taming the beast within. That fiery red energy that we have. Red represents energy. Red represents passion, creativity, all of these things. And so that beast, that animal nature inside of us wants to express all this creativity out into the world, but sometimes it can be a bit aggressive. And so it needs to be tamed, and we tame it with imagination. We use our imagination to tame those energies together so they work together. Again, it's another example of masculine and feminine energies working together. So we're in the Leo, Lion. We had the transition to the moon sign, which was Libra, all about karmic balance, an air sign, where we're looking to balance things out. Being that it's an air sign, air deals with the idea of words or actions. So what we learn is how to say or do the things that help us and avoid saying or doing the things that hurt us. It's very important. It's real easy to remember to say the things that will help us, but oftentimes we forget about the other part, which is don't say the things that are going to hurt us. So that's very important. And as we look here at the graph for today, we can see the first aspect we're dealing here is a opposition between Uranus and Libra. So Libra, again, bringing that balance, bringing that want and need and desire to balance things out with the words and the expressions that we use in the world. We've got this unexpected opportunity event that occurs. This is 12:41 p.m., so just shy of 1 o'clock is when that aspect takes place. And as we get later to today, 9:44 p.m., we go void, of course, which means we pass the last aspect of the sign of Libra, and we move into the next sign of Scorpio. And then finally, when we get to this evening at 11:51, we come out of that void period, and we go into the next moon sign, which is Scorpio. This is where we're going to be the next couple days. Scorpio. Scorpio is the tarot card of death, not a physical death. It deals with the element of water. Water is the emotions. So the death is taking place within the emotional realm. However, emotions, as we know, can be very powerful. So when we feel something powerful in our emotions, it affects us greatly. And so a feeling of death that occurs within the water, within the emotional realm, can be so heavy that it feels like a physical death. But what's going on is a transition. Some sort of transformation is taking place as our emotions are moving from one form to the next. And that's what this is all about. Everything in the imagery here is exactly that, moving from one form into the next. It's not about dying. That's the whole concept. We have this idea that death is the be all end all of everything. And from our perspective, sometimes it seems that way because we're not necessarily looking to the other realms, to the other worlds. But when we hear stories of people who've had near death experiences and then they come back, they all share their experience of understanding that there's something more out there. So there is something more out there, and that's the important thing for us to understand that makes death have a whole different meaning. So 11:51 tonight, we go into that moon sign, and then we're going to be there for the next couple of days. Okay, but today we have a sun sign in Leo and a moon sign in Libra for the most of the day, all the way till 9:44 tonight. Now, moving from there, we look at a moon phase. We are making our way up. It's a waxing moon. Waxing moon means going from the new moon to the full moon. So we're moving upward. We're 30.3% of the way there. August 18th, we will hit the full moon itself. We could see 2 days from now on the 10th, we're going to be at that halfway point, the first quarter moon. And then 8 days later, we will be at the full moon. On the Jewish calendar today is 4 Av. 4 Av. The daily thought for today is harmonization. Harmony at home is a matter of emphasis. Let dissonance slip by. Celebrate beauty. And space weather, solar wind currently is shown to be 468.7 kilometers per second. We do have a warning here, minor storm warning, 55% chance of minor G1 class storms. We see right here the sun. Look at this large corona hole in the top of the sun here. Looks like someone just took the top of the sun off and almost looks very much like a symmetrical type object, doesn't it? Like a square of some sort. Planetary K index is currently 2. However, we see it could get unsettled over the next 24 hours, moving into the range of a 4. Remember, this is a scale that goes up to 9. Okay, when we get to the 9, we're in a pretty heavy-duty storm. I haven't seen any 9s in the time of doing this. I've seen 7s, but I've not seen 9s. Okay, and then we move on down here a little further. Take a look at the flare possibility. We got 20% chance of a flare, 1% of an M class, 1% of an X class. Geomagnetic storm activity is subsiding slightly at the moment. Mid latitudes 35 down to 20, 25 down to 5. Upper latitudes, high latitudes 55 down to 25. So a little bit of decrease there, but we do see some minor activity that is moving in the high latitudes. This might be in a anticipation of wind flowing from this coronal hole here. And there you go, Mr. Spock is up there, or Captain Kirk above the Earth. Now, one thing I want you to notice above this Earth, I always point this out because we think that we're looking at a round spherical thing. We're not. We're looking straight down, like looking at a quarter, and this is the edge of the quarter here. This isn't a protruded out thing. This is a flat surface under here. Okay, we're seeing the edge of the flat disk here around. And I just like to keep pointing that out because, well, everything that I've seen and read and understand says that the Earth is flat. We're on a flat plane with a dome over it. Okay, so there you have it. That is the cosmic weather for today. UFO.
Fill our souls.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Sorry about that volume there. Didn't mean to have it on such a loud sound right off the bat. Okay, here we go. First one we have is a green glowing UFO over Mexico. Friday, this UFO was caught by a reporter in Mexico City last week. It's UFO hiding in the clouds, but its propulsion seems to be making this sort of green glow around it. It's a triangle shape. It happens more often than you think. Something they are shooting above the clouds as though you notice the ground below them. They move as fast as lightning, but then when you notice them, they will either stop for a few seconds or they will circle the sky. Right, Gaia Larza, journalist Saul, captured extraordinary images of a green light in the sky of Mexico City located on Madero Street. In the center of the city, he managed to catch the August 5th at 21:45 hours. So, very interesting. Very interesting images there, that green colored glow. This is a 2-minute, 35-second video. Links available so you can check it out. Next, we have a UFO seen over city here. Here's our plane. Here's our UFO. You could see this one is a larger object right here. Could be because it's closer to the frame than this, closer to our perspective, but nonetheless, it's a pretty large object in itself. It says over Los Angeles. This UFO was recorded recently, and it was near a plane in the sky, keeping the same distance away from the plane. The UFO is glowing white, cloaked as a long cloud, but no cloud could move that fast. It's keeping up with the plane, amazing video, and I asked the location, so I will update soon. Well, we saw it was somewhere over Los Angeles. All right, you've heard stories. I've put some stories up here of individuals who are getting murdered, UFO. So this story here alleges that men in black are the ones who are killing or murdering these UFO researchers. A couple of images of what they may look like. Conspiracy theory on the death of UFO researchers has surfaced after a second person in the field died this month. Paranormal investigator Max Spires, who had claims he once took part in a secret government project called Super Soldier, was found dead this month in Poland. Some believe the investigator was murdered, but the official cause of death has yet to be released. On Wednesday, news of the passing of the fellow UFO researcher Gaurav Tiwari made headlines in several websites. Tiwari was discovered without life in India under an alleged mysterious circumstances. However, in a statement by authorities, he committed suicide. Conspiracy theorists have long been subject to that Secret Service are known as Men in Black block-off UFO chasers who nearly got close to the UFO. Men in Black is allegedly a group of undercover agents in dark glasses and black suits working under the directive of FBI and CIA. One of their missions is to apparently force witnesses of UFOs and alien phenomena not to say something to prevent the truth about space alien visitations on Earth from getting out to the public. Governments, according to the conspiracy theory, are worried of the truth that may bring known to the masses that we are not alone because of the negative impact it may bring to religion and the rule of law. Last month, there were speculations that NASA scientists may have been silenced after she was found dead at the back of a shopping mall. We got a little video discussing all of this. Certainly not the Men in Black that we know. I mean, if this was the Men in Black TV show, rather than murder anybody, which we never see them do, they just pull out that little silver thingy and they give you the memory loss, and that's it. Apparently, they don't have such technology with them. That was a Hollywood recreation. Here, they simply, according to this article, murder you. And finally, some decoding of some recent crop circles by Aluna Joyakskin. Messages from the two latest crop circle formations. This year's crop circle season is still continuing to thrill us with many star-like formations. This season is flooded with the theme of stars and stellar energy. Now we understand a bit of the reason for the trend. The crop circle linked below that appeared on July 28th is an 8-petal star, the number of perfect harmony. Okay, right there, I also see that each of the 8 petals is divided directly down the center. This reminds me of the little-known fact of the Great Pyramid of Giza is actually an 8-sided structure, not 4. In certain light, you can see the division down the front side and all 4s of the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is a massive energy generator. It is one of those places that I'm very grateful that I'm not inside when it was actually turned on. When I asked about the formation, I received the pyramidal energy, and earthly and stellar formations were powering up for something big. They didn't necessarily mean the great pyramids in Egypt, but it could. The pyramidal energy comes from the dimension ruled by sacred geometry or the universally common language of math. It's a basic law throughout the universe. Our now finely tuned nervous systems and advancing DNA will experience a greater awakening from its still hibernating state. We can expect to see an acceleration of energy from the earthly pyramids and sacred node points of the earth to the very near future. All right. Then we were thrilled with another incredible formation that appeared a couple days later, July 30th. It was created with 20 points in a very unusual star pattern. I really find it interesting that the points are radiating inwards towards the large sphere. I feel the points connected to the 20 sacred days perspectives, personalities of the Mayan calendar. These 20 sacred days represent the core of our programming, our personality, and our destiny. So I asked about this. I received another brief message. I was shown that the sphere was our Earth and that we are being told that we are now in the process of receiving huge and incredible influx of powerful and transformational energy and light. But that what was even more exciting is that I was shown the powerful inward portal that has been created, a wormhole in time and space of sorts of which the Earth is and humanity will pass through. This is the beginning of what could be a 180-degree shift in many ways. The mass population does things and how they perceive the world around them. Those people who are feeling their jobs was done and over might get very well evolved job descriptions and a new boost towards higher goals. These messages came through with a lot of peaceful and positive energy. This portal is part of our divine plan. Everything is right on point and in perfect divine timing. No creation of any kind that is out of alignment with natural law will be allowed to go through this portal. Let's just say that there'll be a lot of necessary shakeups in the world, and people will have their eyes opened. The star elders rarely give me timelines based on any calendar, but I got the feeling from them that what we are starting to move through this portal right now, it will be intensifying over the 2 eclipses in September, and by November or early December we begin to understand more about what this portal represents to us as a collective humanity and how it will change our lives and our higher and evolved abilities to manifest and create. Then it will be time for some relaxation and celebration as we begin our re-entry process to a new field of time and space. There will be a Palenque pyramids of Mexico for the re-entry to the other side of the portal. Okay? The bottom line of this message is that where we are as the human race and Mother Earth feels very positive in spite of the fact that everything is looking massively distorted, bordering insanity with mass delusion of separation being manifested and humanity at large appearing to have lost any form of common sense. After this collective insanity is being flushed to the surface to be cleansed out before we can pass through this portal. Those still believing in the insanity and the imbalances as truth will have tremendous trouble with the next couple of months. This portal will also allow those who are done with their work here to leave their bodies in a blast of light filled with great blessings. Those who recognize the truth and can see the imbalance of these miscreations and who work in the best way possible in harmonious directions will find the earth, your bodies and life in general begin to lighten up. I'm already feeling grateful. Okay? So we have the very things here. Interesting how, I'm always going to come back to this, but people are conditioned to believe when they see circles, instantly they want to call them a sphere. But this is a circle, okay? It's not a sphere. With the technology here, I'm pretty certain if they wanted to create a sphere, they could easily do that. But yeah, that's our UFO news for today. Stay tuned. I'll be back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right, let's continue on. So over the course of the weekend, did you have a chance to check out any of those videos? There were some good ones there. There was the The one video is or audio is 2.5 hours, all about the Illuminati, the Council on Foreign Relations. If you haven't had a chance, go back to the Friday show. The link's available. Listen to that one. It'll really help you get an understanding of what's going on. Okay, very great description. And keep in mind as you're watching if that video or the audio is 50 years old. So it brings even more significance to the events that take place. And as you listen to it, you'll see things unfolding and you'll start to be amazed how somebody 50 years ago knew what was going on in this time that we're in. I had a chance to watch a lot of videos over the weekend myself. I came across some really good other videos regarding the flat Earth, expeditions to Antarctica, some really great footage there. So if you go to the playlist that I have, it's an ongoing playlist. I keep adding to it. You'll be able to find some new videos there. Because everything that I've read and studied, I totally believe that the Earth is a flat plane with a dome over it, the firmament, and that we are here and that there are some higher beings that are looking over things. We may be here trapped in like a terrarium of sorts, and I do believe the mission of Yeshua, Jesus Christ, was to help us to get out of the situation, to show us how to move out of this. Because the one who trapped us here is not God, but the demiurge, the fallen being, the one who fell, and then through all of this misunderstanding, here we are in life because we've been not completely aware of our history, of our past. A lot of deception going on. So the point being is there's been deception that has been taking place for us, around us, towards us for a long period of time, and this deception continues. Now, the Nag Hammadi library uses the terms archons quite a bit. Archons are those who are referred to as the authorities. The authorities are the one who are helping to maintain this system of control. Over the years, they continue to have people in place that are maintaining this system of control from year to year to year, and these people come in power in different positions, whether it be political, whether it be business, whether it be some other field, religions, science, whatever it may be. Whatever the system of control that is there, there's a good chance that is something occurring around these archons, this archonic influence that is helping to maintain this. That's why there's a consistent thing that goes on. The beauty of all of this is if we understand that there is a spiritual battle that's going on, that our battle is not just an earthly battle, it gives us confidence to know that we are able to go and to fix the problem because we understand how to fix the problem by bypassing the systems of control and going straight to the source of God that is flowing through each and every one of us. And by connecting directly in with that, we bypass the lies and the deception. Challenge is we aren't often encouraged to do that because by looking past the lies and deception, it blows the agenda of those who are in power and those who are trying to maintain the control. So in this day and age, we're seeing a lot of it, aren't we? And the amazing thing is how much is coming to light so quickly, so quickly. We understand and we see that the media is really maintaining a level of deception that seems to be increasing. And we're having confirmations about that. Last week there was the piece in which the news was laughing about how they are helping Hillary. We have the notice that the different news networks are giving money to the Hillary campaign, and it's one big ruse. And when people finally wake up to it, which they seem to be doing, it's a game changer because the people are the ones who really have the power. The people outnumber those in the government and those causing the problems millions and millions times over. But we allow ourselves to be wrangled in, same way like sheep are wrangled into a pen. When you see all the sheep, how many sheepdogs do you have? You don't have the same amount of sheepdogs as there are as the sheep they're trying to round up. They maybe have 2, 3, and maybe you might have hundreds of sheep. It only takes a couple, and so if we have the media, which is like the sheepdogs, and you got Fox News going over here, and you think that they're getting you from this direction, you got MSNBC getting you from this direction, and CNN's pushing you from this direction, everyone's pushing you to the same place. You may think that they're all separate beings trying to push you there with different agendas, but it's all the same agenda because behind the scenes someone is pushing those buttons. So when we see this, when we understand the level of deception that is going on, we are able then to bypass that level of deception. Information is very important. We are in an information war. There are those who have control of the media, the mainstream networks, including Fox, even though they try to deceive you that they're not part of the mainstream. They are the definition of the mainstream. It's the main stream of information or news that people are watching. They're trying to deceive people by saying, no, but we're cable. Well, we're not cared about what is the method in which your information is being delivered into the world, what the technological medium is. So they're trying to fool people on believing that that makes all the difference, that separates them. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what is the news that people are watching the most. What is the main stream of information? And that seems to be what all of the networks are involved with. Okay, they're all part of the mainstream. ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, Fox. And there's many more. If we look, and we've had plenty of shows where we've talked about media manipulation and how everything from the Council on Foreign Relations down through this time now has worked towards the goal of manipulating the media, where now we have 6 corporations through which majority, 90 or more percent of the information we get is channeled through these 6 main sources. So we could see that there's a lot of control out there. But the control system only stays in place as long as the people continue to believe that it's in place. Remember, you ever hear the experiment, see where you take like a bug, and you put a bug in a jar, and you put the lid on, and then the bug can't get out of the jar, right? And then and after a while, the bug keeps trying and trying. Eventually, you take the lid off, and the bug still stays in the jar because it's used to that. It's only when the bug really realizes that there's an opportunity to escape and takes off that they're able to move forward. So we need to do that. We need to understand where is our opportunity to escape. And it's here. It's here right now. The reason it's here is because this is an information war. Those in the mainstream are trying to disinform you. Those in the alternative media are trying to inform you. So we have the way out by looking at what the alternative media is trying to tell us. The non-controlled network. No one's controlling me. No one's controlling these other alternative media outlets that are out there. And so that's the beauty of the whole system. Now, we have to be very careful when we're doing things to make sure that we're not being manipulated by the various sources of information. So there's a lot of fact checking that needs to go on. A lot of times when people are presenting the news, they'll find one story and they'll call it good. But one of the rules of journalism, unwritten rules, is you have to have more than one source, and you have to confirm your sources. Watch the mainstream networks, and you tell me when they tell a story, are they presenting you with the sources of those stories? They're not. They're giving you stories which are based either on a little bit of information or maybe even opinion. And therein lies the problem, because people watching don't understand and they buy into that hook, line, and sinker, which is why we have the problem. People not paying attention to what they're being told. Which kind of is the theme of where we're going here today. Because people are not paying attention, things are slipping by them. We're not seeing the things in front of us we should be seeing. So I'm going to turn our attention here now to some of these important things. First of all, we have a presidential race. We have 2 candidates out there, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. 2 opposite personalities. One who has been in government for 30, 40 plus years, and then we have another one who is just getting involved, that has been a businessman for all of these years, a multi-billionaire, made lots of things, built lots of things. The other one's been in office but hasn't built anything. The other one has a whole track record of corruption and scandal in the political arena. The other one is telling you she wants to change what's going on in the world to fix the problems. But what is being left out is for the last 8 years, the ones creating the problems has been the very one in her party, the Democrats. They've been in power, but they seem to forget that. And so every time you hear somebody talking about the problems that need to be fixed, well, the problems that need to be fixed are needing to be fixed because Your party, the Democratic Party, is the party that's been in power creating the problems. If people would just catch on to that and wake up to it, it would make a world of difference. But again, people aren't paying attention. Same reason why last week Hillary gave a speech and she blatantly said that they were going to raise taxes on the middle class, and everybody cheered because they're not paying attention. It's just like when Jimmy Kimmel sent reporters out to the DNC to ask questions of the various people there that were in attendance. They asked them the questions, but the question they were asking them were quotes of Donald Trump's, attributing them to Hillary Clinton, and nobody knew. There was one person, a politician, she knew, but all the other people that were asked these questions, given quotes that they were told were Hillary's but were actual Donald Trump quotes, agreed with them. So people aren't paying attention. For not paying attention, we missed the little details. And once we start paying attention, we start finding out that these details are in our face. They're not trying to hide it. It's very obvious to pay if we're just paying attention. So the first thing we have here is we're going to look at Hillary Clinton. We're going to look at Hillary. Question asked, who is Hillary's handler? Who is Hillary's handler? And that would be this gentleman right here. Okay, watch. The guy that comes up right there. Now, see this? This happened last week. This is where somebody jumped up there and had to tell her, it's okay, keep going. Because there's someone from PETA held up a sign, and you could see in this GIF as it goes back and forth. See the moment? The fear right there? She stepped back. It was a moment of fear. What would she do if this was another political leader she had to deal with in the world? We don't need that fear and hesitation like this. This is not somebody as well. This looks like a moment where somebody is having a mental situation going on. Maybe she's in a form of dementia. Maybe it's an early stage of Alzheimer's. Maybe she has some brain condition. But let's take a look at this right here. It says, who is Hillary's handler? Michael Jackson, Prince, and Elvis would travel with personal doctors who would administer needed life-saving drugs and attention during a crisis. Remember when you thought the famous people like Michael Jackson and Elvis had good medical care? Well, the question asked is, what's Hillary on? We first saw a doctor or handler during Hillary's recent freeze-up. You can see Hillary's handler, who at first glance would not be considered the alpha male of the group, to reassure Hillary, speak, using her hypnotic language, and then move the Secret Service agents out of the way. The handler is not an ordinary Secret Service agent. Have you ever seen a Secret Service agent walk up and touch a candidate like this? Especially when you hear the stories about how she doesn't and she berates them often. Reaction to the first video were similar. This is a weird situation, and clearly the handler is not ordinary. Just keep watching this over and over. You can see the fear in her eyes. Okay. It says Hillary's handler is part of the inner circle. Got a video here. You can see the whole thing if you want, but what you're basically seeing is this here. This moment of fear in Hillary. Okay, here's a picture that's making its way around. Look at this. She can't even make it up the stairs. She needs help. Okay, he's got a guy on the left, guy on the right, helping her up the stairs. Here's the same gentleman right there, helping her up the stairs because she can't make it herself. Well, that could be problematic, couldn't it? How is she going to run anything if she has a health condition and she can't even make it up the stairs? Here, Hillary looks out of it again. You can see her, the handler whispering to her. We have another picture of him right here. Okay, remember this one here? This is where she has that twitching moment. It says Hillary tries to play off the seizure by acting as if she has brain freeze. As a medical experts explain to my patients who suffer freezers, become experts at playing it off. And then what about this one here? She looks like she completely goes into being somebody different, doesn't it? That doesn't look like the same Hillary right there. Who did she just become? What just happened? Her brain just did something that caused this reaction. Okay. And there again is the one of the seizure. And then here we have, said Hillary suffered a brain injury during a fall. She either had a stroke causing her to fall or the fall caused her stroke. Doctors were unsure whether the fall was the cause or the effect of the stroke, but the media is covering up her obvious health problems. They date back several years. Here we see her having trouble getting on board a plane, and then she falls down at the end of this video if you watch this. And of course, the coughing fits. Got all these coughing fits that go on. She starts coughing a minute or two at a time. So basically what we have is we have a candidate here who's got a serious medical condition, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. As a matter of fact, it seems to be getting worse. Unless she has some attention and gets some real attention, we're going to one day see her crack. Now, I don't think I have the link here. I should have found the link, but the latest thing going on, I'll bring it up for tomorrow, is you see walking down the hallway a picture of these guys here and her handler actually holding in his hand an EpiPen, something to deal with somebody who has seizures or a medical condition. And the question is, if he's having to walk down a hallway with that in his hand, obviously the condition is pretty serious, that they're thinking at any moment's notice something could happen, so they have to have that pen ready. Not in his pocket, but actually in his hand, ready to go. So we got a medical condition here. This person isn't physically ready to be in office. This woman needs to be in medical care to take care of whatever the problem is. And if somebody's just trying to prop her up and to keep pushing her like this, we're going to see this woman crack in front of us one day. We're going to see that happen. All right? All right. So let me change gears from Hillary because there's a lot more. Now, Hillary has promised to do a number of things when she's president, if she becomes president. And one of those things is she wants to increase the immigration by 550%. Now, we are a melting pot. We've brought lots of people over America. Majority of Americans are here from someplace else. And we have no problem bringing immigrants in. The problem that we have is when bad people sneak in with the good people. And even if it's a small amount, even if the bad people only represent 10% of those sneaking in, that's still too much. If 100,000, and we're getting close to having they said it's 8,000 now that Obama has brought in, 80,000 refugees, working towards his goal of 100,000, was it? And we're getting close to that. 100,000, what's 10% of 100,000? 10,000. That means there's potentially 10,000 refugees in this country that are extremist. 10,000 that are extreme and connected to groups like ISIS or the Muslim Brotherhood. 10,000 that might be connected to groups that are extremists that want to hurt Americans, that want to kill gays, that want to abuse women. And yet Hillary gets out there and says she's the candidate that wants to support women. But why, if you want to support women, would you invite people into the country that abuse them? Why would you take money from countries that abuse women? If you want to protect and you talk that you want to, you're for the LGBTQ community, why would you invite and take money from countries that want to hurt people and kill them because of their lifestyle choices? Yet this is what she wants to do. And strangely enough, people on the liberal Democratic side aren't paying attention, so they're going along with this, saying, yes, vote Hillary, put her in office. And I ask, well, why would you want to invite her in? Because she wants to bring people in the country that want to kill you. Why would you ever want to do that? Unless, of course, there's something going on that people aren't paying attention. It makes no sense. Now, this problem with the Muslim Brotherhood is a very serious problem. I am going to play a clip for you here of this video. This is a video, well, let it speak for itself. How about that? I'm just going to play the opening part. Listen to what it says. It's very important.
I am holding in my hand the Muslim Brotherhood plan for the destruction of the United States, written 5/22/1991. The title of the plan is مذكرة تفسيرية للهدف الاستراتيجي العام للجماعة في أمريكا الشمالية. You all got that? There will be a quiz. It is titled the Muslim Brotherhood, an explanatory memorandum for the general strategic goal for the group, the Muslim Brotherhood in North America, written 5/22/1991. This plan was presented as evidence in the Holy Land Foundation trial, the largest terrorism trial ever in the history of the United States, where our government handed down, hello my best friend, where our government handed down 108 guilty verdicts for Muslim Americans and Muslim American organizations raising money to support terrorist organizations in the Middle East to the tune of millions.
All right. All right, here, let's get this.
They talk about the settlement in the United States. And I have to put my glasses on because God in His wisdom decided I turned 49 and I needed reading glasses. Wait until I get to heaven. I'm convinced He's a man. If He was a woman, He would know I would look better without glasses. Understanding the role of the Muslim brother in North America. The process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with all the word means. The Ikhwan, which is the Arabic word for brothers, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions.
All right, did you get that? Did you get that? Okay. That is a plan written in 1991. It's 2016, 25 years ago. So the Muslim Brotherhood has had a plan to infiltrate the United States, to take over the United States through the spread of Islam for the last 25 years. That's just when the plan was. Okay? Prior to writing this plan, it takes a while to write a plan like this, you're going through your system to organize what your plan is going to be. So this has been a long time coming. Americans, you better wake up because the enemy is here. The enemy has been planning for 25 years on taking over America. We have a White House administration that is filled, and I've showed you the pictures, I've showed you the stories, that is filled with Muslim Brotherhood connected persons. In the White House administration, we have members of our political parties. We have members of our media that are all connected to the Muslim Brotherhood. Very bizarre how it's happening, but there's a slow takeover occurring. You heard what she said. They want to take over America. Now, the big news that's been coming out over the course of this weekend, and we're waiting on real confirmation, is that Huma Abedin is being found out to be a plant, a spy, spying for the Muslim Brotherhood. And she's been allegedly taking videos, secret videos of meetings, and then sending them across to Muslim Brotherhood overseas, to the Saudis. And as she's sending these things across, some of them were captured by Anonymous, intercepted. Here we have the story, leaked Hillary's private meetings with Muslim Brotherhood officials secretly recorded. It has become widely known that Huma Abedin is connected directly to the Muslim Brotherhood. As it turns out, she has been secretly recording Hillary Clinton, and some of the videos have been intercepted by anonymous black hackers. Julian Assange, infamous hacker and founder of WikiLeaks, has been announcing for weeks that more leaks are coming soon. He foretells that the next leak will be high enough evidence to convict Hillary Clinton of treason, and it looks like he may be right. We have to be able to confirm that this substance of the leaks will be evidence of a vast conspiracy within our government. It appears that Huma Abedin secretly recorded Hillary Clinton giving names of everyone involved in the conspiracy to subvert our nation. Huma Mohammed Abedin has worked with the Clintons since 1996, and she began as an intern in the West Wing. For most of the 20 years, Huma has served as Clinton's body woman, which basically is a glorified lady's maid. She now sits in the vice chair in Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. In 2012, she was accused by U.S. Representative Michelle Bachmann of being a mole for the Muslim Brotherhood. Bachmann then says during a live broadcast interview that she's has infiltrated our government, and that infiltration in our government is much wider than anyone expected. It appears that there has been deep penetration into the halls of our United States government by the Muslim Brotherhood, Bachman stated during a radio interview. It appears there are individuals who are associated with the Muslim Brotherhood who have positions, very sensitive positions, in our Department of Justice, our Department of Homeland Security, potentially even our National Intelligence Agency. Hillary has often expressed fondness of Huma. She brought Huma with her from the State Department and has referenced Huma as her second daughter. It's easy to imagine this sort of top secret information Huma has been privy to while working so close to Clinton during her role as Secretary of State. Oh, we got a problem, right? Got somebody in the White House that is not doing the right thing. So we've got a 1991 report to the Muslim Brotherhood to take over America. We have 1996 Huma Abedin connecting with Hillary through the State Department. Now we have reports that she has actually been recording information and sending it across to her contacts overseas. Very bizarre, very bizarre. Let's look a little bit further on why this might happen. What do they want to do? They want to spread Islam throughout the world. They want to spread this religion throughout the world. Who is the head of the Islamic religion? That would be Allah. Here's a story here. I've showed you this before. I'm showing you again the oldest reference to Allah by Theodore Schubert. What is the oldest reference to Allah discovered in antiquity? Who was he and what did he represent? The answers may shock many in the scholarly community. The oldest reference to Allah, according to Kenneth J. Thomas, was discovered in northern and southern Arabia back during the 5th century. The new research linking Allah being worshipped as a deity can be found in the Epic of Astrasis, chiseled in several tablets dating to around 1700 BC, and was not found in Arabian ports but in Babylonia. What should shock historians and theologians alike is that this much older reference to the literal name of a deity called Allah was never even linked by any of the experts on Assyriology who have written on the subject or any translations of the Astrasis epic. Even more troubling for Muslims today is that this deity was described nearly 4 millennia as a god of violence and revolution. The beginning of the Epic of Astrasis describes Allah as how all the gods labored endlessly in grueling work under the rule of the patron deity Enlil or Elil, but soon revolt of the gods had erupted and the deity of violence and revolution named Allah as the following inscription. Then Allah made a voice heard and spoke to the gods and brothers, "Come, let us carry Ila, the counselor of the gods, the warrior from his dwelling. Now cry, let us mix fight with battle." The gods listened to his speech, set fire to their tools, put aside their spades, and fire their loads for the fire god they flared up. This link sheds new light since many years have come hearing various ideas of where Allah came from. Christian and Muslim scholars, as well as secular professors, presented numerous arguments on just who Allah really was and is, not from an actual name, reference, but as to the attributes of his deity. Some similar to others in pre-Islamic times. For example, the renowned historian W. St. Clair Tisdale had found traits of the Persian religion Zoroastrianism in Islam, while many Christian writers have argued that Allah was a moon god in Arabia and Babylon. And as such, an argument has been difficult to conclude on account of the absence of the smoking gun chiseled into ancient inscriptions directly by naming Allah literally and connecting him with lunar worship. Muslim thinkers, on the other hand, have always argued that Abraham originally worshipped Allah purely with the corruption of idolatry, Christianity, or Judaism. All right, so a lot more to the Allah here. Bottom line is, Allah is a moon god. Allah, if we look through the stories, Allah is one of the names of one of the sons, I believe it was of Marduk. I believe he went by the name of Sin. So do we have the word sin because of this? I don't know. But that was how he was referenced. He's also referenced to as Tammuz or Damuzi, which is what we know from the biblical time in Babylon. Okay? And certainly one thing that Allah definitely references to in all of this is the dark energy, Satan, Lucifer. Okay, so let me go on. Let me continue on here. What we have here is a video. I'm going to leave this for you. Allah is Satan from the words of Muhammad. And as you play through this video here, what you're going to find are texts, or scripture, verses, in which we have an example of something from the Quran, and then an example of something that came from the Bible, comparing them. And as you watch this, I'm going to leave it to you to watch this video, but as you see this, you start to see that the very descriptions that the Bible gives of the devil, Satan, are the same descriptions that the Quran gives of Allah. So we've got a problem right there. I have another one here for you to look at. This one is called Islam, the True Religion of Satan. Again, you watch this. It's a 10-minute video. It's going to clue you in to more of these biblical and Quranic references that you need to understand. As you listen to these stories and you come to understand that when Muhammad went into the cave, see, what happened is, the story is that Muhammad went into a cave to pray, to meditate. He spent years doing this. And then one day he was communicated with by this entity, this being. He thought that this being was Gabriel. But when we look at the comparisons of when Gabriel ever entered the scene in the Bible, he's always came there bringing peace, bringing some sort of message of peace. You always felt good when he was around. But what Muhammad described in meeting this being was illness, didn't feel good around this person, felt dark energy from this person, brought nightmares and all kind of things to him. This is not a good being, but this is the being that was communicating and inspired Muhammad to go out and push this idea into the world. An idea that involved and said it was okay to go out and rape, pillage, to murder, to be a pedophile. This is who and what Muhammad is all about. This is what Islam is about. They're not a peaceful religion by any means. When you see somebody that's out there yelling Allah Akbar and they're running into a crowd with a vest and then blowing themselves up, do you think that's really a divine thing, to blow other people up in the name of God, the name of your God, and then say that this is a wonderful divine thing? I don't think so. That sounds like a very warlike, violent thing. But that's what we're getting from this group. Okay, that's what comes from Islam. A lot of people, 1.6 billion of them obviously, have been fooled believing that this is a religion of peace, but it's not. It's a religion of war and violence. Now, fortunately, a good portion of those within Islam have decided to take the road of peace, because there are messages of peace that enter into the story. But there are about 10% of them, as we know, that are extremists, which are taking these words of Muhammad to heart and going out and doing all of these despicable acts in his name. People are getting hurt. People are being killed. People are being raped. People are being ostracized. There's terrorism going in the world, all from this religion of Islam. Does it sound like a religion of peace that's doing all of these things? I don't think so. So, watch this. Understand. You see, we here in the Western world, we don't understand what that religion is over there. We think, yes, bring them over here, because we think they are like us, but they're not. They are a religion that does not believe in the Christ. They do not believe that Allah had a son. Therefore, they are an anti-Christ religion by definition. They don't believe in the Christ. They are anti-Christ religion. And what they are looking for is the hidden imam, the 12th imam, someone who is going to help them spread Islam throughout the world. Right now, the one who seems to fit that really well is Obama, because he's hidden. Those who are paying attention understand that he's Muslim, that he's connected to the Muslim Brotherhood, and that he is helping to bring that Islamic influence into America, and that he is involved with arming the terrorists that are hurting people around the world. And so this 12th Imam also happens to have the same description as the biblical Antichrist. It only makes sense that the Antichrist would be somebody working with the Antichrist religion. So don't be fooled for 1 minute to think Islam is a religion of peace. Islam is the religion that is anti-Christ. It is not for Christ. It is against Christ. It does not believe the things of Christ. Say that. Get that. Understand that. Because that's not what we here in the West believe. And that's the influence that is coming over here. And it's ostracizing those who do believe in the Christ, who do believe in all of that good stuff. And those two things don't mix. So we can continue to be stupid and be fooled and say, bring them on over here. They're just like us. But they're not like us. They don't believe like us because from the time they're little, they're taught from the time they're little to hate the Western ways. They're taught to be fighters for Muhammad. They're taught that it's okay to rape, to pillage, to murder. Very important, my friends. I hope I've shown you enough things here now, today, that has you thinking. And I hope that you are taking this serious with a bit of concern. That, oh my gosh, there was a paper 25 years ago where they're talking about the takeover. And now we're seeing takeovers. Look what's happening in Europe. We have a religion that is an antichrist religion. We have a being that is connected to Satan, Lucifer. Got a problem because we are thinking these are the good guys, but they're not the good guys. They're not our friends. They're not here to help us. They're simply here to hurt us. So Americans better wake up really, really, really fast. We've got 3 months, 93 days till this election. If Hillary gets in office, she's going to bring more of these people into the country. And they're going to come into the country, and there's going to be a portion of them that are going to be bad. And they're going to come in, and they're going to want to kill the gays, and they're going to want to berate women. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right to hurt anybody. But yet that's what they want to do because they are so extreme and they believe that is their right to do. And that will actually get them favor with their God Allah and get them into heaven. So please, my friends, if you love America, if you love this country, it's time to get on board with understanding this. And if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you because the information is right in front of you. It's an information war. Those in the media do not want you to know this information. Those in the alternative media want you to know this information. The mainstream media, unfortunately, is the one that is affecting most people and is keeping people dumbed down because they're believing in all that nonsense. You need to take a stand in all this, my friends. Okay? If not for you, how about for your children and your grandchildren? Because they're going to have to grow up in this world. And if you allow an influence into this world that is a dark satanic influence that is going to impose this kind of restrictions and lawlessness on people, then that's the world they're going to grow up in. Think about that. Think about your grandchildren growing up in that world. Think about your granddaughters growing up in the world where they have to be subservient to the men around them, where being abused by the men around them will be allowed. That's what's ahead for your granddaughters if you don't take control of this. We have bad things already happening when we have these extremists. Even the ones who say they're moderates are coming over here. Look at the situation that occurred up in Idaho. A 5-year-old girl got raped and abused by 3 young boys, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, and I believe a 7-year-old. And it's being swept under the rug, and the mainstream media is not touching it. The father got to see some of the video, unfortunately. Said he had to turn it off. He couldn't watch it anymore. Said if he did, something bad was going to happen, and he was going to go take action himself. Feel so bad for that father of that child. Let's not have that happen to any more children, please. Let's not allow people into the country that are going to hurt American citizens, please. Let's pay attention. Because if you're not taking care of your decisions and if you're allowing these people in, you're not looking out for me, you're not looking out for my friends, you're not looking out for my family, and you're not looking out for anybody else's friends and families either. So this is the battle. You better take it serious. You better take it serious, especially if you have kids. This is their world that you're going to leave them. Better take it real serious. All right, we're going to switch gears here. Article at In 5D is the blue Hopi star Kachina prophecy happening now. Have you noticed people walking around in a zombie-like state? Are star children coming out to the planet with advanced metaphysical abilities? Was Comet Ison or Comet Holmes the blue star Kachina? If so, then all of these are part of the blue star Kachina prophecy by the Hopi Indians. The following is an excerpt from The Last Cry, Native American Prophecies and End of Tales by Dr. Robert Ghostwolf. It has appeared in numerous articles over the internet and magazines all around the world. The story of the blue Kachina is very old story, very old. I've been aware of this story of the blue Kachina since I was very young. I was told this story by my grandfathers who are now between 80 and 100 years of age. Frank Waters also wrote in the Saskoya, the Blue Star Kachina, in the Book of the Hopi. The story came from Grandfather Dan, the oldest Hopi. It was told to me that the first blue Kachina would start to be seen at the dances and would make his appearance known to the children in the plaza during the night dance. This event would tell us that the end times are very near. Then the blue star Kachina would physically appear in the heavens, which would mean that we were in the end times. The final days we will look up the heavens and we will witness the return of the two brothers who helped create this world in birthing time. Baganahaya is the guardian of the North Pole, and his brother Palagwahaya is the guardian of the South Pole. In the final days, the blue star Kachina will come to be with his nephew, and they will return to Earth to its natural rotation, which is counterclockwise. This fact is evident in many petroglyphs that speak of the zodiac, and within the Mayan and the Egyptian pyramids. The rotation of the Earth is manipulated by not so benevolent star beings. The twins will be seen in the northwestern skies. They will come and they will visit those who still be remembered. The original teachings flying in the Patavoyans, the flying ships, they will bring many of their star family back with them in the final days. All right, so interesting. It just kind of shows and it confirms something is going on here. Something is going on, yet another message from the Star Brothers saying that we need to be aware of great changes taking place upon this planet. Now, end times, we hear that term often. End times. It doesn't mean the end of the world, okay? You didn't hear the end world. End times. An end of a timeline, beginning of another timeline. So we are ending a timeline, ending a story, beginning another story. The beauty of this is when a story ends and you start a new one, there's a fresh opportunity. The question is, which story is going to be told? Well, that will depend on how this story ends. If this story ends with us allowing satanic influence of a satanic antichrist religion to get in and spread throughout the world, then the new story is going to begin with us being subjugated and being oppressed by this dark force. However, if at the end of the story we change and we move into positive directions, then we have a new story that's going to begin moving us in a positive way. It is said that the world is splitting in multi-dimensions and that there will be an opportunity to choose the path you're going to walk, because you'll have an opportunity to stay in the world that is dark and being infiltrated, or move with the world that is moving forward. Again, it's all up to us what we believe. All I know is we have to remain positive. We need to remain vigilant to what is taking place, because if we don't, we surely are going to have a problem. All right, here's a channeled message for today. This one comes to us again from the Pleiadian Council of Seven.
Holding a frequency, the Pleiadian High Council of Seven, channeled by Daniel Scranton. We are the Pleiadian High Council of Seven, and we are pleased to offer you our words of wisdom. Harmonizing with a frequency takes you to a very interesting place in your creative process. You can either continue to play in that frequency state, or you can build upon it. Either way, you are in the act of creation as you harmonize with a particular frequency. When you sustain a frequency, the energy around you has more life force within it. You gather more of a similar energy, and therefore it is easier to make something of it. It is easier to create with a singular frequency that you hold for as long as you possibly can than it is to create by continually increasing your frequency or shifting from one frequency to another. There is a momentum that builds when you maintain a particular frequency, and that momentum solidifies the energy. The solidification creates. It puts you in alignment with a particular reality, and then from that new place that you find yourself in, you can create anew. You can create something different, something that you've never experienced before. So we suggest that you start with one frequency. Let us say that you want to create with the frequency of joy. Holding the frequency of joy for as long as you can is not complicated or complex, but it can be challenging. You tend to want to move to another frequency, or to continue to increase the frequency of the joy that you are feeling. But if you can sustain it, if you can maintain that frequency, and you can feel the energy building and the momentum that is created, you can give yourself a visceral experience of the creative process. And that will build even more momentum as you see the evidence of what you have done. And as you create and enjoy and then experience that creation, you harmonize with yourself as a creator being, and that brings you closer to the frequency of Source. We are the Pleiadian High Council of 7, and we are very fond of all of you.
All right, very good message. That brings us to our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. Now let's imagine ourselves we're walking along a path, seeing all the people that are out walking through the world. And as we do, we see many people walking through life like zombies, unaware of everything that is going on because they are simply just caught in its place of just moving along without purpose. And then we see others who are moving along the path with purpose, seem to be filled with more confidence and not caught up in the state of being a zombie. And between these two extremes, we see many different varieties of people. And we understand, as we look at people, we realize that they are reacting to the earth, the changes that are taking place. Many feel overwhelmed by what is happening and simply give in because it feels much easier than fighting and continuing on. So as we walk and we look and we see, we understand that we can make a difference simply by allowing that spark of truth within ourselves to grow. That spark of God, that spark of divinity that was within us to shine bright. So we imagine in our heart a spark of love. And we imagine this color green like the heart chakra. And we imagine this expanding outward from the heart, filling our whole body with this light, this green chakra color. And we see this energy expanding out into the room. And we hold this energy. And then we expand it out further, out into our city, and further yet into the state, and continuing to expand outward further through the country and then across the seas to the other countries until it returns back to us. And we realize that we can make a difference simply by allowing this energy to flow through us. as it is designed and destined to do. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, Christ that flows through us, thank you for blessing our life with your divinity, with your source of oneness. Thank you for allowing us to have open eyes that we might see and open ears that we might hear. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to participate in this great experiment where we, each and every one of us, have an opportunity to participate in our graduation, and that each one of us carries with us the opportunity to change things for the better, not only for ourselves, but for all that we come in contact with. So let's just imagine expanding this energy out and seeing it interact with others, and seeing others send out energy as well, and one by one sharing of this energy, until pretty soon the zombies wake up. The confused become clear. The agendas drip away, and we'll be able to move through life understanding our connection to all. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, sending out light, love, positivity. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. All right, my friends, that is it. Look, my last word for today before I go is do not be afraid. There are many people in the world right now that are walking through fearful of saying something, fearful of doing something because somebody is going to ostracize them or criticize them for that. Fear of standing up for what they know is right because some friends or somebody who is caught up in the illusion is trying to convince them that they need to stay in the illusion. I see people giving up way too easy. There's no time for giving up. Here in America, we have a battle that we need to deal with. We have a real problem that needs to be dealt with. Giving up is not an option. If you're a parent, look at your kids' faces. If you have grandchildren, look at their faces and then tell yourself, is there room to give up? Can you give up on them? I don't see how you could if you truly love them. So we can't give up. We can't buy into the lies that are being told to us from the mainstream about what's going on. We need to seek out the sources of information for the truth. One of the things Yeshua said over and over was we needed to seek and find. But you only seek for things that are hidden. You don't seek for things that are out in the open. So by that very statement, Jesus, Yeshua, the Christ, was telling us we needed to look for things that are hidden. The hidden truths, hidden behind the lies and the deceptions of this physical world. So now is the time, my friends, to look for those truths. Stop being so afraid. Stop giving up, because that's just conditioning that's been programmed into over years. Start believing that there is a power of divinity, a power of God that flows through you that cannot be stopped. And when one of us connects with another one and another one and another one, we simply amplify that energy because we're allowing that much more to come through. The truth is here, my friends. God is here. The opportunity is here. We could go the way of goodness or we can go the way of badness. The choice is ours. It all depends on where we're going to allow ourselves to be led. Let yourself be led into the darkness or actually lead yourself and others into the light. 2 choices. It's up to us. Just be strong. Remain faithful. And everything's going to be working out just fine. There is a battle and a challenge. We got to deal with it. We can't pretend that that isn't before us. So let's deal with the problems. Let's take care of it once and for all so we can move forward and leave this world in a better condition for the children and the grandchildren that come after us. That's all I have to say for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Till then, have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.